And just like that, our attention turns to the Tigers on Sunday. Goddamn. So we are now in the home stretch. There's 5 games left. We've got a bunch of games at the MCG. We only travel one more time, and that's to Adelaide against Adelaide. And this game against the Tigers, God, 4 weeks ago, we're looking at this game and going, oh, this is the game where we rest 4 to 5 players, 3 to 5 players, we rest them. Pendlebury, side bottom, we rest them all. We rest them all. Now it's become a must win. And I know that sounds really, really silly. Like if I was watching this video 6 weeks ago and I was watching myself say, oh, this is a must win game, I would have been like, what the hell is this guy bloody talking about? And even now I'm thinking, what am I talking about? A must win game against the Tigers, who are right down the bottom of the ladder. They're 16th on the ladder. But it is a must win game. And I know we should win this game. I'm 95% sure we're going to win this game. But after losing our last 2 games by a combined total of only 7 points, going from being 2.5 games clear on top of the table to half a game clear on top of the table now, every game's important, right? But this is the game where we need to reassert our dominance, reassert that we have this aura about us, because the Pies just don't look like themselves for the most part. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But it is going to be an incredibly insane game Sunday at 2:10. So the Tigers have outdone themselves, right? So credit to them. They've got 5 wins on the board. They've won their last 2 games. So how's that score? That game line going in. They've won their last 2 games. We've lost our last 2 games, and now we play them, and they've got a full head of steam, and it's a free hit for the Tigers, right? There has been no bigger free hit in the football world at the moment than this hit the Tigers have against Collingwood. They looked really good against West Coast, albeit against the younger side in the competition. And, the Tigers should have smashed West Coast. But they looked really good. They were quick, and, they've got Hopper and Taranto. Hopper kicked like 3 goals and had 30 disposals, and they're looking like a well-oiled machine. And you sit back and watch that and go, oh, yeah, they're probably due for something like that. Then you watch what Collingwood have dished up. And I'm not saying that if, the Tigers played Collingwood last week, they would have won or anything like that. But the Tigers are probably watching and going, okay, we know a few things and what Fremantle did to get under Collingwood's skin, especially in that last quarter, that we can try. Look, we're probably still going to lose by 5 or something goals. But could they shock and scare the Pies? The biggest in that the Tigers have got going for them at the moment is Noah Bolter. So he'll return after his curfew has been all served and stuff. So, he hasn't looked that good in the defense. Do they put him in the forward line and try to emulate some sort of Patrick Voss sort of thing? The one thing that the Tigers are going to look to do is going to look for someone that can emulate the Patrick Voss matchup. But in saying that, our defense will start to become a little bit more bolstered when we get into this game finally. Now, looking at the Collingwood side and what we dished up for the last 2 weeks, let's take away that first half against the Gold Coast out of our minds, right? From that second half, we really outplayed the Suns. They got lucky. They didn't get lucky. They created the buffer for themselves and some brilliance in that last quarter. They go on and kick those 2 goals. But we did everything we could and everything right in that last half. And you look at that Fremantle game, we are on top. Our system really held up. We played really good football. The only thing that let us down were those freaking inside 50s. Now, we say this all the time, right? Bad kicking is bad football. And when, Jamie Elliott's missing regulation shots, Brody Mychek's missing regulation shots, the last-ditch effort is to chuck Darcy Moore up forward because Dan McStay isn't working. When you start doing that sort of stuff, of course you're going to lose games. But when you start letting, Patrick Voss kick 6 goals, and that's no discredit to him, that was an incredible performance. An incredible performance. I think they were saying it's his first game at the MCG or something. So incredible performance. But when you start letting, these sort of players kick as many goals as he did, you got to start questioning what's going on. Why isn't the system holding up in these sort of areas? But then you look at, equal most tackles inside 50, an insane number of tackles just in general. The pressure was off the charts. Clearances, inside 50s. It's just we weren't one, we should have put Fremantle to the sword. And two, we just weren't clinical. For these last 2 weeks, we haven't been clinical. And that could be down to a number of factors. It could be down to personnel. We know we got 6 or 7 stars out of the side. It could be down to the connection going inside 50. We're looking to long bomb it and hoping our tools. It could be, is it Mason Cox because he's, we're looking for him more and we're not lowering our eyes like we should. Are we too tall? So it's all these little factors that come in, and 2% of each of those factors, and then all of a sudden you're 10% off and you're looking for things. That third quarter, 20 inside 50s for 1 goal too. I dare say if we have 20 inside 50s against Richmond in 1 quarter, we're going to kick 4 or 5 goals, right? And that's probably because, Richmond are a young side and stuff like that. But I think that's something that's going to be worked on in training a lot, is just that connection piece going forward. You watch that game again against Fremantle, and most of those kicks in the third quarter were going forward and getting marked, right? We weren't lowering our eyes. We were just blazing away, kicking it long and in hope. And that's not something that is going to win you many games of football. It hasn't won us many games of football, because the games that we have lost, you watch them again, we're doing the exact same thing. And how many times do I say it? Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And I feel like I say that every single time, and I expect a different result, and we don't get the different result. So I'm going insane. But let's look at who we could be getting back. Billy Frampton will come in. He's a test. So we absolutely need Billy Frampton to play. And he probably is going to be one of the only changes going forward. Bobby Hill won't play, but he could play in the VFL. Jordan Ngowi will be back through the VFL. But Billy Frampton coming back is absolutely huge. I thought Dean did okay. Obviously not the best, but I thought he did okay. And it wasn't even just Dean. It was, not having the right matchup for Patrick Voss. We shifted Darcy Moore off him after he kicked 3 goals on Darcy Moore. We know Darcy Moore's not a one-on-one defender, but then you put Maynard on him, and Maynard gets a goal kicked on him. You put Q gets a goal kicked on him. It was just one of those days. Whatever we were going to do wasn't going to work. We are missing Houston. We are missing Jeremy Howe, but Billy Frampton will shore up that defensive line a lot. It'll let Moore peel off a little bit more and do more things, as in MOORE things, do Darcy Moore things, and become that intercept marker that we love, and that's what, how he got his All Australian jerseys, and that's where we win the premiership in that year, because he's that intercepting defender. He's not that one-on-one defender. So Billy Frampton will 100% help us out in that way, and we go back to a bit more of a rock solid defense. And I think that really might be the only change. I know last week I was saying I'd love to see Oscar Steen debut, or I'd love to see Harry Demetia debut. I think Demetia is a little bit off, just maybe a few more. Maybe he doesn't even debut this year, to be honest. He's going back as that inside mid in the VFL, and I love that for him. But just a little bit off in there. Could do a little bit more things, but he's growing and he's looking really good. Oscar Steen's probably the one that you would give a debut to, but do you take Mason Cox out of that team? The dynamic there is this, right? Are we a better team at the moment with Mason Cox and Darcy Cameron tandem rucking, or are we a better team with Dan McStay in as second ruck? Sorry, I also forgot. Tim Membry will come in. So you're looking at Billy Frampton, Tim Membry, maybe Tom Mitchell. Do we need that Tom Mitchell type? He was managed, a genuine management. Do we need that Tom Mitchell type? Let me know in the comments down below. But let's say Billy Frampton and Tim Membry. If Tim Membry does come in, Mason Cox comes out, Dan McStay goes in as the second ruck. We can't play all of those tools plus debut Oscar Steen. So something we'll have to give. I think we don't even debut Oscar Steen this year, even though I would love to see it. But at the moment, we're getting to this point of the year, and look, correct me if I'm wrong, and the coaches will correct me if I'm wrong when they announce the teams and stuff like that. But now we won't be able to rest as many players as we would like because we haven't even shored up a top 4 spot yet. How's this, right? So I'll leave you with this before I get onto my bold calls and predictions. When we play on Sunday against the Tigers, Brisbane should beat the Suns. Adelaide should beat whoever Adelaide are playing. Oh, Port Adelaide. We will be third. By the time those two teams play, Collingwood, who are 10 points clear on top of the ladder, will be third on the ladder. Does that put more pressure on the Pies? Does it give them more fire in their belly? Who knows? All I know is we shouldn't be in this position. We've done this to ourselves. I don't think the spark's gone. I think the aura has gone a little bit. I kind of got a theory that, and I've seen this a couple of times. Has it stemmed from Craig McRae saying we've got enough wins to qualify? We've qualified for finals. Could that language have changed to, yeah, we've qualified for finals. Now we want to qualify for top 2. Maybe that's what they're saying internally. They haven't said it externally, and why should they? They don't owe us anything like that in saying the language that they use. But I just can't help to think that did they get too complacent? Did they get too complacent in these games? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Now, big calls and predictions. I think I want to win this game by 60 points. I think we'll win by 30 or something points. 5 goals I'm giving us. But I feel like Richmond are going to come out and push us really hard. That's not to say that they're going to, they'll probably, you know what? I reckon Richmond go 2 goals up in the first quarter. At some point during the first quarter, they're going to go 2 goals up, and then we're going to put the afterburners on. This isn't going to be a rope-a-dope game. This isn't going to be a game where Collingwood will say, hit us with what you can, and then we go again. This is going to be Collingwood going, no, we are here to play. We need to win this. It's foot down. It's pedal to the metal. I want to see us demolish Richmond. I just know it's not going to happen, and I wanted to, but I just feel like it's not going to happen. So I'm thinking about a 5-goal win. My big call, though, I reckon this is a game where Tim Membry kicks 3 or 4 goals and just gets absolutely off the chain on his return. If he is to return, I think he will. Kick 3 or 4 goals and absolutely dominate with Dan McStay doing that tandem rucking. Get Dan McStay into the groove a little bit more. But let me know your thoughts down below. I don't think this is a banana peel game. Like, my genuine banana peel games was that, the West Coast game and the Carlton game. I don't think this is a genuine banana peel game, but Richmond, they've got nothing to lose. And when a team's got nothing to lose, when their backs are against the wall, nothing to lose, they swing and they swing hard. So it's going to be really, really interesting. But let me know your thoughts down below. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.